Mr. Chairman, I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
Over the past year, Republicans have brought to the floor one bill after another to weaken the Clean Air Act and eliminate EPA authority to protect public health from dangerous air pollution. The House has passed bills to nullify EPA's rules on air pollution from incinerators, power plants, cement kilns, and industrial boilers. But the bill before us today breaks new ground. It would block EPA from taking an action that EPA has no plan to take. This bill is called the Farm Dust Regulation Prevention Act of 2011. Well, that's a misleading title. EPA currently does not regulate farm dust, and they have no plans to regulate farm dust. EPA Administrator Jackson told Congress that she will propose no change to the current air quality standard for coarse particles, which have been in place since the Reagan administration. This bill belongs to the False Advertising Hall of Fame. It is not really about farms at all. Its real effect is to exempt industrial mining operations and other large industries from regulation under the Clean Air Act, and it threatens to overturn the particulate pollution standards that protect families in both rural and urban communities. Section 3 of the bill exempts so-called nuisance dust from any regulation under the Clean Air Act. It then defines nuisance dust incredibly broadly. The definition covers both coarse particulates and deadly fine particulate. It covers particulates from earth moving, which means industrial mining operations, and from activities typically conducted in rural areas, which include cement plants, smelters, coal processing plants, and other industrial activities that are common. During the committee markups of this bill, the Republicans amended the definition of so-called nuisance dust 3 times. This shows how poorly drafted and broadly worded the definition really is. But they voted down an amendment to clarify that the bill only applies to agricultural dust, and another amendment to clarify that the bill does not apply to mining activities. They even voted down an amendment to preserve EPA's authority to regulate emissions of arsenic from copper mines and smelters. One supporter of the bill is the Kennecott Copper, which operates one of the largest open pit copper mines in the world. The company's mining activities are the single largest source of particulate pollution in Utah, and a big reason why the 1 million residents of Salt Lake County breathe unhealthy air. This bill would exempt all particulate matter pollution from the Kennecott mine and all other mines from the entire Clean Air Act. Let's be honest. The reason industrial mining operations are pushing this bill has nothing to do with protecting family farms. The bill would also make unenforceable the national air quality standards for both fine and coarse particulate pollution. Particulate pollution causes aggravated asthma attacks, heart attacks, respiratory diseases, strokes, and premature death. Reductions in particulate pollution under the Clean Air Act account for some of the largest public health benefits produced by the Act. Gutting these standards would be radical and devastating. The American people support the Clean Air Act. People want clean air. And over the past 40 years, the Clean Air Act has brought us dramatic air quality improvements. But House Republicans are intent on undoing these achievements. In bill after bill, for one industry after another, the House has voted to punch holes in the Clean Air Act. It has voted for more weather-altering carbon pollution, more toxic mercury pollution, more arsenic and lead pollution, more particulate matter pollution, more sulfur dioxide pollution, and more nitrogen oxide pollution. In fact, the House has voted 170 times to undermine our nation's environmental laws. Over 60 of those votes were to dismantle the Clean Air Act. I urge my colleagues to protect clean air and the health of all Americans and oppose H.R. 1633, and I reserve the balance of our time.